ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away. Burn away, we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it through the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Too brave, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake it through the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it through the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Too brave, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake it through the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
All right, Lee, and 3, 2.
Kansas City, here we come. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kansas Speedway in Kansas City as we are in the knockout round with the NAISCC Cup Series. Lee Tidwell here along with our main man Oz back in the booth, and Sam Dyer joining me back again this week after missing last week. Sam, it is the knockout round week for the playoffs. 16 come into tonight. Only 8 will move on in the playoffs, and the top, from 6th to about 12th is only separated by mere points. So real quick, let's go over that. Aaron Kralik leading the points, 25 points ahead of second place Vincent Sora. Kyle Rochelle will be in third position. Dakota Moniz in fourth. Tom Sinchik in fifth. Now, that's where it gets interesting. Fourth on back. Maurice Gomillion in sixth. Ryan Bird in seventh. Thomas Walter in eighth. And then you've got that cutoff line. Max Foner in ninth. James Trammell in 10th, Patrick Hernandez in 11th, Adam Westfield in 12th, the Professor, Sean Huffstutler in 13th, Chris Parkman in 14th, Ryan Ferrero in 15th, and Jesse Thornock in 16th. Sam, when you go from 4th on back to 10th, we are separated by merely 12 points.
Yeah, 12 points, and easily you could be finding some of these drivers that thought they were comfortable inside of our top 8 to be making it to the next round. They can be knocked out just by being caught up in a bad wreck. It is going to be interesting to see how this race evolves on where drivers going to be standing, and some of the drivers that are lower, that are around 15th and 16th, Ferrero and Thornock, they're going to be in kind of a close to must-win territory just because of how small the field is. Yes, we've got 23 drivers so far registered to race here today, but they are about 18 to 22 points back. They're going to need a lot of points, and they are going to have to drive and be up front. And right now, based on their practice lap times, it's not looking good for either of them.
Well, and you got to look at also, they're looking at this as a huge points race. And that's really what it is for everyone. It is a huge points race unless you're already out of that top 16. And then you're just in it for pride and finishing out the season. But every lap led, every stage won, all of these extra bonus points that add on could make or break whether or not you move on to next week in the playoffs, or if you're one of those also rans. And 8 drivers will exit the playoffs tonight. We are in Kansas City at Kansas Motor Speedway. And, Sam, some of the things going on tonight, it is race 14 in the final race of this round of 16 here at Kansas, and some guys to watch for. Vincent Sora, that number 15, the number 8 of Tom Sinchek. Last week, both had rough weeks. Watch these two as they led a lot of laps the last time we came here. So Sora and Sinchek looking to have big days here at Kansas.
Yeah, Sora, probably one of my favorites here today. We've only in this league ran 4 mile-and-a-half courses, and the driver that's won 2 of those 4 is going to be Vincent Sora. So the 15 machine, one of our favorites to watch out for. But I got to say, the driver right now 5th on the board during practice, Kyle Rochelle. I think that's the driver that is looking for the biggest rebound after last week, and the way that race just did not go the way that the one wanted it to go.
Yeah, Rochelle looking for a huge change in luck. Chris Parkman in the 11 could possibly be the dark horse to steal a win and make it to the next round. Showed lots of speed this season, and we've seen him up front quite a bit, but has had some bad luck. One of those guys, wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. So don't be surprised to see him up towards the front throughout the race.
Yeah, Parkman was one of those drivers I think we really had marked down as someone that could be that dark horse. But we just got news here recently. It looks like Chris Parkman will not be racing for the rest of the season, actually. He's done. He will be waiting until next season to come back and race for a championship.
Breaking news right here on the broadcast. And, that's one that I actually had in the back of my head as the dark horse for tonight in my notes is someone to really look out for. Let's talk about these bubble drivers. We talked a little bit about it. 6 through 10 separated by just single digits. It's going to be a very fun and exciting race, especially at a mile and a half here like Kansas. What do you think the strategy is going to be? Is it going to be survive and persevere, or is it going to be get every single point that you can?
I think for these drivers that, like we've been saying, are within 12 points, that 4th down to 10th place in our points for those drivers, it's going to be about that stage win. Try and maximize your points, get a lap led, and win the stage. That would be a total of 8 points that you could be taking away from the drivers in this field, just based off bonus points. And it certainly is possible with the way that this race is going to be turning around. Tires is going to be the most important thing for these drivers to look out for, and they've got to really take care of it. The tire run that these drivers are looking at is around 35 to 40 laps. Fuel can go about 10 laps further than that for 45 to 50 laps. So the tires and fuel not going to match very well, but they got to take care of their tires, even though this track feels like you can go full throttle for about 20 laps or so.
Getting set to get underway with qualifying here. Hello, everyone on Facebook and YouTube, and welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Lee Tidwell, Sam Dyer, and Oz himself, Robin Moya, joining you with you this afternoon. I'd like to remind you of the fine sponsors that bring you Freaky Fast Broadcasting each and every week. Like the ButtKicker and the Gamer 2, and every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10-powered race car, from ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving to physical mass instead of only air like traditional speakers, the Gamer 2 provides an instant, accurate, powerful bass response. It's all perfectly in sync with every game with no additional software required. Check out the Gamer 2 at thebutkicker.com. Use promo code FreakyFast20 for 20% off your order of the Gamer 2 at thebutkicker.com. Barney the Flag guys waving that checkered flag as we get set to start with qualifying here from Kansas Motor Speedway. Robert, if we have any other sponsors, go ahead and pop them on up there because I lost my list, sir. And also brought to you by, thank you, sir, the SimBox Store. If you want to take your sim rig to the next level, get yourself a button box from the SimBox Store today. These quality handcrafted button boxes feature 32 functions and will deliver immersion like never before. You can reach them on Facebook at SimBox Store or view their box options on their eBay store. Don't forget to like their page and let them know that Freaky Fast sent you. That's the SimBox Store. You really push our buttons. Out on qualifying now, and we are going to be taking a look at multiple different drivers right now. I'm looking at the 94, the Professor Sean Huffstutler, who is out on the track in that St. Jude's Children's Hospital Chevy Camaro in that number 94. It should be interesting to see how these guys qualify here at these mile and a halves as well, because a good qualifying position can set you up for a good finishing position, especially with the stages. But also, if you're up front, you've got to watch for those guys that aren't looking at tire conservation, so to say, and just come trying to charge up through the field those first 20 laps, Sam.
Yeah, especially in the first 20 laps on how they're going to be trying to figure out, do you want to save your tires right from the rip and try to save it and so you can make a great run 20 laps from lap 20 to around lap 40, or do you want to be aggressive and try to build out a huge lead where you feel like you can hold everyone off until those green flag pit stops happen? And really for the 94, it's all about points. He's right now running in 13th in points for Huffstuffler, and he's going to be 15 points back. So around that bubble of possibilities of making his way into the next round by points, could be close to being a must-win scenario.
It really could. Huffstuffler putting in the lap of 30.441. That's 7th best at the moment. Take that back. Second lap, he says, take this, fellas, a 30.039. Huffstuffler jumped to the pole. Now Sinchek says, I'll do you one better. And he's the one that hit the 30.039. Huffstuffler was actually at 30.102. Now Thomas Walter in second position. Kralik jumps up to second. So with these guys throwing down qualifying laps at the same time, this leaderboard is going to mix up very fast as we see Walter moving up, Ferraro moving up, Sinchek now taking the pole. So still lots of movement going on there, but it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out as we get set for the Kansas 300 here at Kansas Speedway with the NAISCC Cup Series. Hello once again to everyone out there on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for joining us for this knockout round. The round of 16 will be narrowed down to 8 tonight. We have a massive bubble when you really want to look at it. 4th through 10th separated by single digits, and then on back through there with a great showing and a disastrous mishap by some of the front runners here in the playoffs. We could see a huge shakeup going into next week in the next round of the playoffs in the round of 8.
Yeah, and we're starting to see some drivers that are hitting the boards that could be drivers that try to steal this win and be a spoiler of some sorts. If you get a win of the drivers that are in the points right now and battling for the championship, get a win, you automatically get to move on to the next round. We already saw the 5 be able to do that. Wondering who will be that next driver.
Sora tops Sinchek by 0.007 and takes the pole. Still a minute left in qualify, but man, what a lap by Sora. Almost 30 flat, a 30.032.
I mean, our top 4, they are all split up from one another by 13 thousandths of a second. I mean, that is incredibly quick on how close our top 4 is. Top 5, they're divided up by 0.03 of a second.
If you're watching some of the great views from Kansas, it made me think of Vegas. I saw something about gambling or something, and I immediately went to Vegas. I'm like, hey, we can do that. They give you free drinks as long as you're spending money. I don't know if you knew that or not, but that's the thing.
Ooh, getting some free drinks, had possible chance of getting some cash. I know a lot of people, Vegas has been where a lot of drivers have been racing at on iRacing. It's where all the official races have been. As we're on board with the 2 of Danny Cochran, who's trying to put a better lap time down that first lap, puts him 19th on the board.
19th at a 30.219, but he will not have enough time as time has expired on qualifying, and we will set the field for the NAISCC Cup Series Kansas 300. Vincent Sora will take that pole position with a 30.032. Tom Sinchek in second position at number 8. The number 1 of Kyle Rochelle will be in third position. James Loveland in fourth at number 56. The number 16 of Aaron Kralik in fifth position. Thomas Walter in seventh at number 57. The number 58 of Ryan Bird will be in seventh. Sorry, Thomas Walter's in sixth. The Professor, Sean Huffstuffler, will be in eighth position in the number 94. The number 10 of Jacob Morris will be in ninth position. In 10th will be Jesse Thornock at number 14. The number 88 of Adam Westfield will be in 11th. Austin Halsey in the number 4 will be in 12th. Ryan Ferraro in the number 12 will be in 13th position. In 14th, Max Forner in the number 51. The number 25 of Martin Morales Jr. in 15th. In 16th, Patrick Hernandez in that number 19. The number 81 of Zachary Compton will be in 17th position. In 18th, James Trammell in the number 20. The number 2 of Danny Cochran will be in 19th. Maurice Gomillion and the number 44 will be in 20th. In 21st, Nicholas Compton in the number 80. The number 5, bad qualifying there for the number 5, Dakota Moniz. He's one of those bubble drivers. He will start in 22nd position. And in 23rd, it'll be Joshua Pike in the number 70. The starting lineups here for the NAISCC Cup Series brought to you by the Simbox Store. Check them out, the Simbox Store there on Facebook. And also check out their eBay page. I actually looked at their eBay page, and I'm looking to add to my rig. And the next thing I want to get is a button box. So I'm probably going to go to see what mentioning Freaky Fast, if they give me a discount or not.
Oh man, having a sim box would be so helpful to have. I mean,
Dude,
it helps
for
so
real?
much with just having so much ability to change things.
Yeah, when you have to flip through that black box and unclick and click things, it gets a little annoying after a while.
Oh yeah.
So we get set for 200 laps here at Kansas. Soren Sinchek in the front row, Rochelle Loveland in the second, Kralik Walter in the third, Bird and Huffstetler fourth, and Morrison Thornick will be in the fifth row, coming through 3 and 4 as we ride along with your pole setter, Vincent Sora, that number 15 machine. And the Sora Performance Ford, ready to take the green flag. Pace truck will come off. Sora will get them set, and here we go. Green flag from Kansas Speedway at 200 laps with the NAISCC Cup Series. Sora brings them to the line with Sinchek on the high side. We now go down into 1. Sora will get the lead, and Sinchek and Rochelle will race it behind him. Looks like Rochelle is going to pull up in second position, and then look at Kralik flying up there into third. It's going to shuffle Sinchek back to fourth position going into 3, and behind him, Walter and Loveland racing it out, Sam.
Yeah, Kralik's going to obviously really hunting for a victory after being so disappointed. Finishing second place, yes, a great run, but wanted that win last week. Hungry to get a win here at Kansas.
We complete lap 1 of 200. Vincent Sora will be in the lead. Oh, we got a car close to the wall up there. Who is that? The 56, it looks like. Yeah, the 56 of James Loveland scraping that wall coming out of 2. And now Kralik is being challenged by Walter for third position. Walter right up to the rear bumper of Rochelle as we come out of 4. Will overtake third position. Now looks to the inside of Rochelle to maybe take second.
And coming hard on the inside is going to be Walter. And Thomas Walter, with that bubble car, 8th place coming in today's race. A win would lock him in, and he wouldn't have to worry about all those other drivers trying to steal and take his spot in here in the playoffs.
Walter drops down to the inside of Sora looking for that lead. Kralik's right behind them along with the number 1 of Rochelle. We go into 3, and now the apex and exiting 4. Walter will be in the lead. Sora, Kralik, and Rochelle. Then Sinchek will be your top 5. Then Morris, Bird, Westmoreland, Westfield, Loveland, and Halsey is now moved up 2 spots and cracked the top 10.
We're seeing these drivers, yes, they're staying in line, but they're going to be staying close. The draft so important here at Kansas until we start to see the tires really start to wear off, which is going to be around that lap 15 to 20 marker.
They have, as you said, single followed it out and then just looking for little leapfrogs here and there. Back in the back a little bit, still some racing going on. We're on the 57 of Thomas Walter. Walter looking at the back of Vincent Sora. Now James Loveland in that number 56. Loveland in the 9th position with Halsey sniffing his back bumper there for just a moment.
Yeah, Loveland, after scraping the wall, did start up in 4th place, but has been just dropping back, trying to stay in the top 10, running now in 10th place.
We go into 3 and 4. Walter will continue to lead. Now Sora's going to look to the inside of Walter, exiting 4. Coming across the start-finish line, going to drop it down below the apron, nose to nose. Walter will just inch him out, but Sora's going to have the momentum and look to challenge him going into 1. Vincent Sora looking to get back into the lead here at Kansas. He will slide it up in there. Spotter says clear by a nose. Up in and out. A battle for 3rd. Rochelle and Kralik. Rochelle down to the inside. Kralik had to check up. Did not run into the back end of Walters. That's going to give Rochelle 3rd position. Now he's looking underneath Walter to maybe take over 2nd. It's this front 3 and 4, or front 1 through 4. Kind of just playing it around here, and we see it's getting more and more bunched up, Sam.
Yeah, and the reason for this is due to the fact that we saw Thomas Walter's wanting to be aggressive, really using those tires in those first 3 laps, and now we're seeing he's just seeing the issues from that. It's now losing time for the 57. He's got to cool off those rear tires and hope that he can battle right back.
Walter's side by side with Rochelle on the inside as we exit 4. Rochelle will have second position, going to push along Sora. Here comes Kralik to the inside of Walter. Walter trying to hold that line. Kralik's going to slide up just a bit. Sinchek will be right behind him. And then look at the 58 of, excuse me, who is that? Back behind, is that the 88 of Westfield that's flying up there?
Yeah, it's going to be Westfield trying to make the charge on the outside. Not able to, he's kind of stalling out for a moment. But he certainly is going to be trying to make that outside line work. Everyone wants to stay on the low as much as possible. That white line, your friend here early on.
Yeah, but look at the way that Westfield is making that top line work. Moved up to 7th position. Now got his nose to the inside of Jacob T. Morris, or to the outside, excuse me. Going to pass Morris for 6th position. That's a big energy there on the top side. Going to the back of Sinchek now. Looking to crack into the top 5 on the high line.
Yeah, he's just able to hold on to that momentum and carry that speed off the exit. And that's where he's getting all this built up momentum. And it's just throwing him down this front and back stretch.
And now he's going to drop down to the inside of Sinchek. Crack to top 5 is Adam Westfield. But Sinchek had that outside momentum that time, retakes the spot. Westfield now losing ground to Jacob T. Morris, who's going to go to the inside. So, that's one of the things about running up high too, Sam, is you get those tires, warm, you get them hot, you get them sticky, and then you've got to let them cool down, and you lose almost as much, if not more, than you gain.
Yeah, and it's possible that these drivers, they're starting to feel the wear and tear on their tires, and that's why we're seeing everyone move up a groove or two. And if you're going to be making a pass, you're really going to have to send it on the inside.
Sora, Walter, Kralik, Rochelle, and Sinchek, your top 5. Westfield, Morris, Bird, Thoner up now to 9th position. He's up 5 spots. And then Thornick rounds out your top 10. We race it out. It's going to be Rochelle and Kralik, who's going to be racing for 3rd position. Kralik on the high side. Rochelle's going to duck down to the inside and look to overtake 3rd once again behind Walter. Is Thomas Walter in 2nd position behind Vincent Sora. And Sora, I think, is probably cool with just letting them race it on out and burn them tires up.
Yeah, especially with the drivers that are side by side. This is hurting Rochelle more than anyone else. That one machine, he's staying low and trying to get as much speed out of these corners, and it's pushing the one up, and you're starting to see the more that he starts to push up, that means he's wearing and tearing those tires more off of the exit.
Yep. And Rochelle might have to pay for it on this triple round as you see Kralik get this run off the high side. And I think he's going to have him cleared. He does. Rochelle's going to fall back into 4th position. Then you got Sinchek behind. Sinchek is Morris and Westfield. Westfield still trying to work that high line. They're going to bring it across the start-finish line, lap 14 of 200 from Kansas Speedway. So question, Kansas City. Is it Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, where this is located?
This is Kansas City. Do a quick Google search on this. Kansas City, Kansas.
Kansas City, Kansas. You know what Kansas is known for?
Corn.
No, that's Nebraska. Why does everybody always answer corn?
Because, I don't know, I'm from California. We're here for the sun.
I would like to be in California. That'd be cool. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't. I'd be one of those mass exodus people moving to Texas if I was in California. Lap 15 of 200. Sora's now pulled out a bit of a lead over Thomas Walter. Walter has now got Kralik right behind him, looking to maybe battle for that 2nd position. So we still got the front 5 single file. Then back behind them, 6 through 10, is all kinds of jumbled up in a booger.
Yeah, still side by side, 4-6 place. Morris and Bird still just lingering around. And Westfield might have gotten crushed up into the wall as that 88 just no longer having the speed and dropping back.
And that's really hurting Morris and Bird, right? Racing side by side like that and doing these crossovers and these dip and dodges instead of getting in a line and trying to catch up with these leaders.
I mean, yes, it's hurting them now, and you're starting to see the drivers that were a lot more aggressive, trying to march their way through the field. As we're getting closer and closer to that lap 20 marker, that's when you're really going to be seeing the difference of drivers that were conserving, trying to save their tires, and those that were just pushing and being aggressive from the start.
Looking at the 10 of Jacob Morris. Morris is running in the 6th position behind Sinchek, in front of Bird. And look at Foner. Foner now trying to make a run on Bird in that 51 machine. Austin Hulsey in the number 4. There's Foner. Sorry about that, Robert. Trying to trip up our producer here. I'm good at that, by the way. I'm very good at that. Dakota Moniz. I know how to say it right now. Moniz has moved up to 16th, up 6 spots from his start. He definitely does not want to see a bad finish like that. Coming in 4th position, but only 6 points ahead of 8th place Thomas Walter and 7 points ahead of 9th place Max Foner.
Yeah, and right now this group's just boxed in, not really able to go anywhere. And luckily the 5 already locked in after getting the win last week. So now just riding along, but it's those other drivers that he's around. Really have to be careful not to be caught up into any incident. And some of these drivers, they need to start making their move up to the front or hope that an early caution comes out before the stage comes around.
Looking at the 44 of Maurice Gomillion. Gomillion definitely needs a good finish here this evening. He's in 18th spot right now. He's in 6th position when it comes down to the playoffs and only 2 points away from that cutoff line. So, he definitely needs to improve that spot here. Martin Morales Jr. at number 25 is in 20th position. He is down 5 spots from where he began. Raced along with the number 2 of Danny Cochran. Now looking at the 56 of James Loveland. Loveland is running, that's not 56, that's 58. Loveland's running in that 21st position. He is down 17 spots. So a disastrous beginning of the race for the 56.
Yeah, we've been watching Loveland. He's brushed the wall multiple times since we first initially documented him hitting the wall through 1 and 2. So it's been a big issue and continues on. And now you're seeing the wear and tear on that 56.
The 80 of Nicholas Compton in 23rd position. He's down 2 spots from where he began, from Paducah, Kentucky. You know what's in Paducah, Kentucky?
I have no idea.
Horses. That's all Kentucky has. A bunch of horses.
Got that Kentucky Derby out there.
So I am not going to try to pronounce the last name of a commenter on Facebook. We're just going to say Sander. Sander wants to see a driver's view. So if we can go in the cockpit, let's go in the cockpit with the number 57 of Thomas Walter, if we can there, Robert. And right along with him, looking at Vincent Sora in the lead. The 57 of Thomas Walter in 2nd position. And Sora has pulled out a 1/8 of a second lead now over Walter. And you can see there from that excellent cockpit view, they're riding that high line, Sam, and that is now going to be that preferred line unless you're trying to get a pass. But it's hard to get that momentum to run on that bottom line the way it is on the high line now, especially on lap 23.
Yeah, Kansas, after being repaved, it's got that progressive banking, so the more wear and tear the tires take, the more that the drivers are going to migrate higher and higher. And sooner or later, we're going to be seeing everyone pretty much onto the wall, unless you're trying to make passes, which that's what we're soon to be seeing for 2nd place.
Yep, same view, Robert. Go to the 16 of Aaron Kralik. Kralik now going to the high side of Walter. And will overtake that 2nd position. Now Kyle Rochelle will go past Walter. Walter sliding back to 4th position. Morse up to 5th in that number 10. But Rochelle now looking to look to the inside of Kralik as we come to the start-finish line. Lap 25 of 200. Not enough momentum there for Rochelle, so Kralik will hold on to 2nd for the moment. Walter in 4th, Sinchek in 5th. Morris now looking to the inside of Sinchek, coming out of 2. So Thomas Walter got loose as a goose on Thanksgiving Eve and lost all kinds of momentum there. And Morris is pulled right up to the back of him. Now take that back. That's going to be, yeah, that's Morris.
Morris on the
That's
inside,
right.
then check on the outside.
Yeah, what you said. Sinchek in that number 8 car will be in the 5th position. And then James Trammell in the number 20. Trammell is now in the 9th position, moved up 9 spots. Trammell from Tulsa, Oklahoma. One of those, Oklahoma's an oddly shaped state. And it's also got a lot of tornadoes. I don't know why anybody would want to be in Oklahoma.
I mean, it's close to Texas.
You know what Oklahoma's known for?
They're known for oil.
I was going to say being the safe word in Jackass.
Ooh. Okay.
Did you ever see that episode? The safe word is always Oklahoma.
I actually have not seen that episode.
Lap 28 of 200, Sora, man, he has pulled out a monster lead now over Kralik. And just keeps pulling away. The 15 of Sora in first position with a 1.2 second lead now over Aaron Kralik. Kyle Rochelle in third. Thomas Walter in fourth. Jacob T. Morris in fifth. Then you got Sinchek, Bird, Foner up to 8th, Trammell in 9th, and Thornock in 10th position. Holsey in 11th of 1 spot on the outside looking into that top 10. Looking back at our point standings, Kralik and Sora, they're sitting pretty right now. 1-2, they're 1-2 in the points. Rochelle third in points, third here this evening. Monez is the one, though. He's sitting in 4th, and he is not doing as hot as he would have hoped so. Monez in 16th.
Yeah.
Moniz.
Dakota Moniz going to be in that 16th position. And, like we said, luckily he won last week in that completely riddled 5 machine. And that is what has put him in opportunity here. One of the drivers, though, that's in our top 8, not looking good. That's got to be Gomillion, who is running all the way back in 15th position. Gomillion needs to be doing better, especially with the fact that Max Forner is doing so well, and that is the driver that most likely could be stealing away his way into our top 8.
Well, I mean, look at that. Foner running in 8th position now make it 9th as Trammell passes him. Trammell comes into tonight's race 10th in points. So this could put him in that moving on scenario. And don't really see any other ones. Ferrero running in 13th. That could help him out depending on what happens with some others. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to look back and forth between where the points are coming into this race and where everybody is right now. What's interesting, Thomas Walter has run the fastest lap of the race with a 30.042. Now, that was way earlier in the run on lap number 2. But that shows where the speed is. And now we're looking at, 31.6s, 31.7s, some in the 32s as the tires start to fall off. The 10 of Jacob Morris running in 4th position. He is trying to run down Kyle Rochelle as the front 3 is starting to stretch it out just a bit. Rochelle, 0.9 of a second ahead of Jacob Morris.
Yeah, and Morris has been just slowly making his way forward. This 10 machine has not really been trying to push it, letting all the drivers in front of him use up their rubber, and then is taking those spots easy peasy. As now Thomas Walter going to be dropping back. About 3 laps ago, though, I just saw the 51 almost completely loop it out of 4, and that's something we're going to be seeing a lot more of as we get closer and closer to pit stops here, just because the grip level, it's going away. These cars are getting loose.
The 51 of Max Foner moving up to the 10th position really needs a good finish here, but gotta play it careful. The more laps you put on these tires, the more you have to finesse that throttle. This is not a all-out track. You can do that for a good 3 to 5 laps, and then you can really almost go full out for 10 to 15. But then once you hit that 20 mark, now you've got to start easy in, easy out, smooth on the accelerator, smooth on the wheel, conserve those tires.
That's exactly what a lot of these drivers are doing right now, is being smooth, trying to stay consistent, and not get their cars shaken up at all. On board with the 88 machine of Adam Westfield. Westfield He was up there in our top 10 at one point, but it looks like he got way too excited in trying to utilize the outside and saw how much speed there was. I think it's because everyone else was backing off trying to save their tires, and that's why the 88 was able to gain so much and now is losing it all.
Yep, the 57 of Walter, he is fallen, or about to fall back even more. He's got Ryan Bird right behind him. Sinchek had a good run. Woo, Sinchek got wiggly coming out of 2. He shook a tail feather and almost tapped that outside wall. Sinchek running that high line when he came out of 2. Let's see what happens when he comes out of 4. Yeah, it's still a little wiggly there.
Oh, yeah. That rear right tire just getting heated up.
If you know how to twerk, it makes it a lot easier to go around these tracks like this.
Just be wiggling the behind, see how far it goes.
I tried to twerk once. I threw my back out, so I'll never do that again.
I think there's just a special technique to it. I think it's not in the back. I heard that it's in the ankles. Like if you bob your ankles, that's where you get it.
Yeah, my wife said I look like a monkey trying to make sweet, sweet love to a football. Lap 37 of 200, Vincent Sora continues to lead. Kralik in second, Rochelle third, Morris fourth, Walter fifth, Foner back in 10th position. Now we're looking at the number 8 of Sinchek. Sinchek now racing with the 58 of Ryan Bird. That is going to be for 6th position. Sinchek working that high line, which is the preferred line at the moment, especially with these tires. Now, once we start seeing pit stops, you'll start seeing more people use that bottom line. But right now, that bottom line is just not working out. Jesse Thornick at number 14. He is in 9th position, up 1 spot from his start. Last lap of a 32.022. He's got a lot of people faster than him catching up to him right now, especially right there behind him. That number 51, guess who it is? Max Foner.
Foner recovering after getting out of sorts and now trying to make that pass, and will do so.
Yeah, that's like Bristol dirt right there. Let's slide it on up.
I mean, it's what
have you seen the footage of Bristol dirt yet?
I have. It was a blast to watch. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'll watch it. I'll call it. I ain't driving. I can't drive dirt.
Let's just send it and hope for the best. That's really what dirt is.
Yeah, see, I got bad luck. So most time when I send it and hope for the best ain't good enough.
Ooh, 14 coming into the
That's
bits.
Thornick. Stage is at lap 80, right, Tim?
Yeah, lap 80 is at the end of stage 1. Top 5 finishers at the end of stage 1 get bonus points from that. So there is a feeling to go in. More drivers coming in. Loveland's coming in. Looks like the professor was actually the first one to come in about 4 laps ago.
Yeah, he came in on 35. Thornick in now along with Loveland. And we will keep an eye on pit road for you as more drivers start to come in. Sora will continue to be the leader with Kralik in second, Rochelle third. Morris has moved up to 4th, and then Walter in 5th position. And starting to work lap traffic is Vincent Sora.
Dealing with a little bit of traffic in front of him. And for these drivers, it's got to be frustrating seeing how quick Vincent Sora has been. And Sora, just looking at the lap times, has been the fastest car out on track almost every single lap. It's going to change now, of course, with fresher tires being put on these cars. But this 15 machine, quick at the start and has that long run speed.
Yep, so Sora will keep an eye on when he will come into pit. He's probably going to try to run that down as far as possible with the lead that he has right now, being 1.4 seconds over Kralik. Kralik now approaching lap traffic of Nicholas Compton and Joshua Pike, the 80 and the 70. Oh, right in the back end of him. Right into the back end. And Kralik's night just had a very bad turn.
Oh, he is frustrated over the comms, just voicing his display on how that went down. And that's where the communication with the lap car has to come in of, hey, lead lap cars are coming, gotta move, pick a lane and try to get out of the preferred race lane. It looks like lap cars, they're staying high, and that's where the lead lap cars want to be.
So Morris will now take second position, Rossell third. Kralik will drop down to fourth after running right into the back end. I couldn't tell if that was Compton or Pike, but it was right into the back end of it.
That was Pike that he ran into. They're still discussing about the situation, but car that's loving it. That's Sora still pulling away, and now up to a 3-second lead just because of that fiasco.
Yeah, Jacob T. Morse 3 seconds behind Vincent Sora. Morris up 7 spots from his start, so having a really good night himself. Rochelle in third, Kralik's fourth, Walter back in 5th position now. Walter has Sinchek right behind him, and then you got Ryan Bird trying to make a run here on the low side on Sinchek. Little slide there, and then they're going to come across the start-finish line. So it's interesting to watch the way these races, especially when they have longer green flags, will accordion out and then come back together and then back out and together. As you've got Sinchek right to the back of Walter now, comes down to the inside. Sinchek will overtake Walter, and that will put him into the top 5. Looking to run down Kralik, but they got a lap machine of Nicholas Compton in front of him. Compton almost gets rear-ended. Walter almost rear-ends Compton, came down, almost hit Sinchek, so almost had another incident with a lap vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because where the lap cars, where you naturally feel like you want to place yourself, is on the outside, let everyone run low, but because everyone's on the older tires, the cars on the lead lap, they want to run the outside. That's the more preferred lane. So maybe these lap cars might want to think about moving to the inside, let those lead lap cars just burn it on the top.
Lap 48 of 200 complete here at Kansas Speedway. Sora, Morris, Rochelle, Kralik, and Walter will be your top 5. We are looking now at the number 8 of Tom Sinchek. Sinchek in the 6th position, trying to chase down Walter and look down to the inside of him. Ryan Bird right behind Sinchek. We race it down the backstretch using that draft to Sinchek, but he's going to follow along behind Walter. Bird is going to try that low line once again and see if he can pull up, but he just didn't have the momentum coming off that turn. That low line is gone until you get new tires, I believe so.
Yeah, you kind of have to do a slide job entering these corners if you want a chance to pass someone, but then it gives opportunity for the car you just pass to do a crossover move. But right now, if I'm Sinchek, I'm nervous as he's going to be down trying to pull it to the inside. This A machine's been following the 57 for a while, and Walters has gone up into the wall through 1 and 2 multiple times. And I'm surprised it's taken the 8 this long, but once again, not able to make the pass fully. The momentum's just not there on the inside.
And I think it might have actually shook him up a little bit. Kralik went into the pits. And, you come off of 4 and see someone down low going slow. You check up just a bit and lost momentum. And now here comes the 58 of Bird. Looking to go to the high side. The door was slammed there by Sinchek, and Bird scrapes that outside wall.
Bird going to be fighting back, trying to go to the inside, but once again, just doesn't have the momentum, hoping for the 8 to bog down. Will not. We also had about 5 cars that just pulled into the pits during that last lap.
Yeah, but I can see that Kralik is in the pits along. Let's see who else is up in there. Lap 50. Ferraro is there. Moniz just pulls in. Morales, Ferraro, Joshua Pike, Cochran's in. So, yeah, pits window has opened up here. Right at about the 50-lap mark. We're riding along with the number 20. James Trammell. Trammell is riding in the 7th position. And he's looking at that battle in front of him of Walter, Sinchek, and Bird.
Our leader just came into the pits. Sora.
The Sora into the pits, turns the lead over to Morris. Morris comes across the radio and says he's coming in this time. I think Sinchek is as well. So we might see a mass hysteria of pitness coming up here on this lap.
Ooh, there was almost collision there between Rochelle and Morris. As the 10 not able to get as low as he wanted to, and he almost had our front 2 take each other out.
that would be misfortunate.
Yeah,
If 1 and 2 take each other out on lap, a quarter of the way through.
we've already seen lap cars take out the leaders. Why not just have the leaders take each other out?
Sinchek looking down to the inside of Walter. That is a battle for now. Second position. But no, take that back. Drop it into the pits. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. When your tires are gone, you drop it like it's hot.
Drop it right into pit road, yeah.
So Thomas Walter will inherit the lead. Bird is still out there along with Trammell. Foner still out. Westfield, Hernandez, and Zachary Compton. Those will be the 7 that have not pitted yet. Hernandez came over the radio just now, said he is coming in.
Still our front 5 staying out. Hernandez in the pits. Hernandez has been doing a pretty decent run for himself. Been running around that 13th, 14th position.
Looking at the 58 of Ryan Bird. Foner's going to be pitting this time around. Walter is going to stay out and continue to lead this race. Ryan Bird will stay out as well. Trammell is out. And Foner just comes into the pits. Westfield comes in as well. And Zachary Compton will stay out and move up to the 4th position. So Walter will be pitting this lap as he drops down to the inside. Lets Bird come past on the high side. Bird will overtake the lead and lead his first lap of this race on lap 58 of 200. So Bird, Trammell, and Compton, the only 3 that haven't pitted yet.
Right now, Trammell's just thinking, I need to lead a lap for this 58. For the 20, excuse me. Thinking, I need to lead a lap. Points are important. Leading 1 lap and we'll give you 1 bonus point. So all these drivers that have been staying out as long as possible, they're thinking about the long term of bonus points as well as having the best tires once we're done with this green flag cycle.
And Bird staying out as well. So Bird and Trammell. Bird is, and see, that's actually a pretty good strategy. Bird is sitting in 7th right now in the playoff points. Trammell in 10th. So if Bird can stay out and make Trammell pit first and prevent him from getting that bonus point, that actually helps him out a lot.
Trammell's going to duck it in very low, extremely early, and this is going to hurt the 20 with time extremely because coming in so passively, you're going to be losing a lot of time, while Bird came so aggressive, gaining over about 2 seconds over the 20.
So now everybody has made it to pit road here by lap 60 of 200. And that should put Sora back in the lead in that number 15 as he comes around 4 now. Passes the start-finish line in pit road, and Vincent Sora will be back into the lead. Kyle Rochelle will move into... No, take it back. Morris will be in 2nd. Rochelle 3rd. Kralik 4th. Thornock in 5th. Then you got Sinchek, Bird. Trammell still in the pits. He's still falling down. The Professor Huffstutler is in 9th position. Thomas Walter up to 8th now. Dakota Monaz. Huffstutler is falling back. What is going on with Huffstutler? He is losing a lot of positions here.
Yeah, Huffstutler is on 24-lap old tires where everyone else is on about 18 to 15-lap fresher tires than him, and that's where you're seeing the major difference as the 94 just losing time.
Morales looking to the high side of him. That is a battle for 10th position. We'll put Martin Morales into the top 10. Gomilia now moves into 11th position, and it looks like the Professor might need to be thinking about a pit stop very soon. Moniz, the number 5, sitting in 8th position. Have Foner right behind him and that number 51. And after these pit stops happen, now we've just got, what is it going to be? 28 laps until the end of the stage. we're going to see probably what very similar to what we would see in the final 20 laps of a race, I think, right now.
Yeah, it is go time for a lot of these drivers, and right now Asora has an advantage, 2.8 seconds, and continues to hold that line. But he's got to be careful because he's got Kyle Rochelle, 2 lap fresher tires in the 15. We'll see if he can try to catch up to our leader late in this run.
Max Foner in the 51 trying to hold off Dakota Moniz, excuse me. Moniz is riding that high line. Foner's going to slide it up in front and overtake 8th position, put Moniz back to 9th. Bird will be in 10th behind Bird. Morales and Gomillion will race it into 3 and 4, as you can see in the far reaches of the camera view.
Foner just not feeling comfortable, especially if you were looking. He's got a lot of damage on that front left, front right, excuse me, where he has clobbered the wall one too many times.
Looking now at the 44 of Maurice Gomillion in the 11th position. Gomillion is looking ahead at Foner, Bird, and Moniz as they race it through. Right behind him is Martin Morales. And those two have been kind of leapfrogging back and forth.
Yeah, Morales and Gomillion they're keeping close with one another. They were around 19th, 20th place when we started this run, and they've been slowly making their way forward. And what's really helped them was pitting earlier than everyone else. They were able to leapfrog with an undercut. We'll see if that's able to hold off, though, as the 88 trying to make a late charge to pass both those cars.
So lap 65 of 200, making 66. Vincent Sora will continue to lead here at Kansas Speedway. Hello to everyone out there on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for joining us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the NAISC I said that right. NAISCC Cup Series, the Kansas 300. 200 laps from Kansas Speedway. I am Lee Tidwell. Joining me, Sam Dyer, and Oz himself, the great producer, Mr. Robert A. Moya, back there on the buttons, and bringing you all this great action as we look at the 88 of Adam Westfield. Westfield will be running in 13th position at the moment, the last lap of a 30-point. Ooh, he's the devil, 666.
Just don't notice it. We'll be all right.
And he's chasing that. Look at Morales. He's looking to the inside of Morales. Only has 3 lap fresher tires, but man, it took him like a champ.
I mean, that's just the difference of having those fresher tires and how important it is getting later into this run. Do want to give note, we do have cars that have had issues. Ryan Ferrero, one of our drivers that was outside of our top 8, was looking for a good run here today. Right now in 22nd place, 2 laps down, had to have an extended stay on pit road. And also James Loveland has been our first DNF of the race.
Ooh, that hurts. As we go back and look at our points, let's see here. Foner is having probably the best run of all of them right now. 9th on both in the race and in the championship points, but this should propel him up into that top 8 with, let me see, Moniz is not having the bestest of days. Well, right in front of him. Sinchek, Gomillion, Bird, and Walter. So it does look like our top 8 have moved up into at least the top 12 here this evening. So they are doing everything they can to hold on to that playoff spot.
Yeah, I think really the battle we're looking on figuring out who's going to be making it in or out of the playoffs moving forward has to be Gomillion as well as Foner. Those drivers, there's a 2-point difference between them. And what's the biggest thing is I don't think either one of them led a lap, so that bonus point is not there for either of them. It's all about track position at this point.
We are 9 laps away from our stage 1 completion. as Vincent Sora will continue with his lead, a dominant, well, I said dominant. He's a second now, as he is having a race with Zachary Compton. Compton in 17th position, but with fresher tires than Sora, he's able to stick that bottom and making Sora work for it.
Yeah, and that is hurting Sora so much because Kyle Rochelle in the 1 has the 2-lap fresher tires, has been gaining. At one point, it was 2.8 seconds back. It's almost down to a 8/10 now, as here comes that one machine.
Yep, Rochelle is looking to make a charge here. As these final laps of the stage 1 counting down, can Kyle Rochelle pick up that stage victory and maybe leapfrog in front of Sora and Kralix in the points standings by the end of this race? Lap 74 of 200 now, and the lead still right at 0.8 of a second. But I tell you what, Zachary Compton's actually helping Sora now by drafting with him.
Yeah, I think right now Kyle might have used up his tires. We've really been working hard trying to run down the 15, and we've kind of hit that plateau part of when the tires start to equal out with one another. If you're just a couple of laps off of how fresh they are, it matters on how aggressive, how much you've been beating and banging. But here comes, once again, Compton trying to pressure the 15, and that's going to be hurting him on time.
Yeah, Compton looked strong earlier in the race, but then some unfortunate incidents shook him back towards the back of the field. But yeah, he is pretty strong right now, and you can see how, he's given Sora plenty of space, but he's also not just lifting and saying, all right, y'all just go on past me. He's just keeping his line, he's keeping his speed, and he's right there on the back of Sora. And lucky dog, like the Aaron's dog. Didn't they start calling it the lucky dog because of Aaron's back in the day?
I'm pretty sure that was the reason.
Rip to own. Biggest rip-off known to man. Lap 77 to 200. And now look at that lead. It is stretched back now almost a full second. So yeah, exactly what you said, Sam, as Rochelle ate those tires up, and Vincent Sora can just use Zachary Compton as a pusher and cruise it on around 2 more laps and get the stage victory here for the knockout round of the round of 16.
Yeah, looking at it, our top 5, they look pretty secure on where they're going to be standing. It's drivers behind them that are looking a little nervous at the moment of, will they keep it clean enough? I'm watching Walters and Bird. They've been duking it back and forth with one another back for the 6th place position, but that's not for bonus points. It's just for a position here, setting up for when the stage comes to an end.
And looking at the lap times as they come across, we was talking about Rochelle. Sora was a 1/10 of a second faster. Kralix was a 1/10 of a second faster. Morrison Sinchek, right at the same. So where he was gaining time on everyone, now not only plateaued, but losing time to the majority of the field.
Yeah, it equals out for about 3 to 4 laps, and then you start to see the difference once again. It's one of those nice hills you get to see of, hey, you got an advantage early, and now you don't. Now you're getting hurt badly here. Moving on. As caution comes out, that's the end of stage 1.
So we will end stage 1 with Vincent Sora, your stage winner. Rochelle in 2nd, Morris in 3rd, Sinchek 4th, Kralik in 5th position. Then it would be Ryan Bird, Thomas Walter, Max Foner, Adam Westfield, and Jesse Thorna. We'll round out your top 10 with Gomillion on the outside looking in, along with Trammell, Moniz, Morales, Huffstutler, Hernandez. So in that top 16, we literally have almost talked about the top 16 in points.
Yeah, all of them Well, at least 15 of our 16 showed up for this race. Excited to see how this thing was going to go down. And it's all the contenders that were in your basically top 5 of points, able to get some type of bonus points here. And excited to see how this race is going to go on, because now those bubble positions, it's going to get hectic and crazy as we race to lap 200.
So we expect to see everybody come on down and get reset for our final stage in our very first of the evening here at NAISCC Cup Series at Kansas. Our very first pit party of the evening, as everybody's going to come on down. Look at that parade of cars coming down pit road, and then the race off of pit road. That's going to be interesting as well. I actually lost a race today by overshooting my pit box.
It's so easy to do, especially if you're trying to gain time, be aggressive into your pit box and aggressive out. I think missing or overshooting it isn't as bad as trying to get caught speeding. So these drivers also got to be careful not to speed off pit road. But Sora able to get it out.
Yep, Sora, Rochelle, Morris comes out, then Sinchek and Kralix. Walter will be in 6, Westfield. Zachary Compton stayed out. Oh, yeah, because he was lapped down. He'll come in this time around. Go Million will improve his spot. Moniz will improve his. Bird should be in 10th once Zachary Compton comes into the pit. Is Compton going to come into the pits?
I mean, he should. He better go into the pits. And he's going to be caught sleeping and be put a lap down real quick if he doesn't.
Real quick, real fast, like Jimmy John's.
Ooh.
You know why Jimmy John's is so fast? Because if you don't live within 5 minutes of the store, they won't deliver to you.
Wait, is that right? That is
Either 5 minutes or 5 miles, but yeah.
5 minutes. 5 miles makes more sense than 5 minutes. 5 minutes, you're within like walking distance if it's 5 minutes.
Jimmy John's is all right. Let's talk about food. Yeah, we're in a caution. Jimmy John's is all right, but if I go to Jimmy John's, I just get a turkey and cheese because I don't eat vegetables. You'll learn a lot of weird stuff about me, Sam, the longer you do this with me. But yeah, I don't eat vegetables. So turkey and cheese at Jimmy John's. At Subway, I got to get my meatball. I like their meatball subs. Firehouse, though.
Oh,
Firehouse. That's
the one.
top shelf.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Top
yeah.
shelf subs. Yep, that's a thing.
Jimmy John's, I think I've had it once. And I was like, this is close to Subway. But when I had Firehouse for the first time last year. Yeah, no, last year in January. And I was like, oh, this is the best place I've ever been to.
Wait, did you say you're in California?
Yes.
So you have an In-N-Out, like probably within,
I've got 2 within like 5 minutes.
Oh, dude, I've never got to try In-N-Out. Now,
I'll be honest, it is great. I love it, but it is way too overhyped. It's just a burger.
we got a Five Guys up here in the Nashville area. I've had Whataburger. We don't have one in Nashville. We used to way back in the day, but I never ate there that I can remember. But we're supposed to get one this year or next year. They've already announced that they're building one, but there's one in Birmingham, Alabama that I've been to multiple times. I don't just drive to Birmingham just to eat Whataburger, but I would because it's that daggum good. And Whataburger should be a sponsor and give us money for how much I'm talking about them.
Whataburger is like, I've never had Jersey Mike's. I will say though that Whataburger, I am a fan of their spicy ketchup. That is amazing.
And their fries are so good. Have you had KFC's fries?
Yes.
They are so good. So Ryan Douglas on Facebook says In-N-Out is amazing and he misses it. He grew up in California, so I've got to try In-N-Out. Where's the farthest east I can go to an In-N-Out?
Texas.
Not going to happen. As we get set to go back green, the pace truck pulls off. Sora and Rochelle. Sora will be on the inside.
Green, green, green.
Got to take out back. All right, Sora just took off and left everybody. It's Rochelle and Morris who are going to be side by side. Now we're looking at maybe go, almost with 3 wide with Morris, Rochelle, and Kralik, along with Sinchek. So that top 5 make it 6 with a 57 of Thomas Walter coming flying out of 2 as we get set for stage number 2, and we race it into 3. These guys are really pushing it hard. Morris and Rochelle now going to be door to door coming out of 4 for second position, and Sora is going to just use that to his advantage and try to pull out as big of a lead as he possibly can. Kralik into 4th, Sinchek in 5th, Walter in 6th.
Yeah, I mean, we could be seeing Sora pull out easily away from everyone else. I think Sora, the mindset at the moment, yes, have a little bit of a lead, have a little bit of that buffer, but save your tires for later on. Still side by side for second place.
Rochelle on the high side. It's going to be Jacob T. Morris on the inside. We go through the apex and now out of 4. Door to door for second position. Kralix is right behind him, looking and just watching, waiting like a cat ready to pounce. As we complete lap 87 of 200 back into turn number 1, we're still going to be door to door for second position with the number 1 of Kyle Rochelle and the number 10 of Jacob T. Morris. Rochelle will pull out that, will get the advantage. Kralix is going to follow him on the high side. It will shuffle Morris back to 4th position. And now Sinchek's going to look to the inside to overtake 4th.
Yeah, Morris was kind of known as the guy that dropped back and wasn't really being too aggressive early on in that first run, and it helped him greatly. Later the run went on, as they're now going to be seeing that side-by-side once again. Here comes Kralik.
Kralik to the inside of Rochelle. That's going to be for second position as we race it through 1 and 2, and they have caught up with Vincent Sora coming out of 2. Look at the run by Rochelle. Rochelle solidly in second. Now Kralik's at 3rd, Sinchek 4th, Walter 5th. Pull it in, and Rochelle right to the back bumper of Vincent Sora as we bring it to the start-finish line. Across the start-finish line, 89 of 200. And now, when will Kyle Rochelle look to make his move? Because he doesn't do it quick. We got Sinchek now, who's moved up to 3rd position. Here it is, coming out of 2. Rochelle to the inside of Sora. Coming down the backstretch. Rochelle's got a nose lead over the 15 of Vincent Sora. Down to 3. Dives it down, hugs that white line, trying not to touch that apron. Sora's going to pull right up to the back bumper and say, go ahead, I'll let you lead this one. As we cross the start-finish line, Rochelle leads his first lap.
Yeah, Rochelle, this was what he needed to do. Try to get up front, lead the charge, and don't let Sora just run away with this thing. We'll see if Sora might have made a mistake with making adjustments under pit road. That could be what's helping the one. The adjustments of figuring out on this early run how to have the faster car.
Rochelle will bring it out of 4. Sora's looking to the inside. Got a little bit wiggly there. Sinchek behind him. Then you got Walter. Sinchek going to dive it down to the apron to see what he can get run-wise off of this. Slides it back up in front of Walter. Kralik is slid back to 5th position. And then it's going to be Morris, Moniz, Westfield, Gomillion, and Ryan Bird now cracks the top 10 with Trammell right behind them. Let's go back to the number 20 real quick. James Trammell in that 11th position. He is racing with Bird for 10th. And we're just seeing these guys are really mixing it up now as Morris and Kralik is going to be racing across the start-finish line.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is the best time to make passes. Everyone's going to be the closest they can be. But I don't think they're thinking big picture of how these tires are going to be so important. We didn't really see a caution come out. Yes, drivers getting loose. But this is not the time to really burn up your tires because this will be hurting you for the longer run.
Leading it down into 3. Sora now got a nice run to the back of Rochelle. Going to dip down to the inside. He's got his nose to the inside. But now here comes Sinchek diving it down to the apron, trying to get some momentum run as well, with Walter now up to 4th position. Morris in 5th, Kralik back down to 6th. As we race it through 3 wide, coming out of 2 with Walter, Sinchek, and Morris. And the one that had to fall back was Morris. Morris is like, I tell you what, fellas, I'm going to check it out for a second and back it on up. Now Sora's going to look to the high side of Rochelle and maybe look for a dive down. But behind them, Walter looking to the inside of Sinchek across the start-finish line. Then we line it back up single file down into 1. Who's going to make the move? It's going to be the guy in 5th position, Jacob T. Morris, looking out to the inside of Thomas Walter, the number 57. As we come out now, Kralik is going to be making a move to the high side of Morris, and maybe try to overtake that 5th position. Sora with a big run on the high side. Look at Sora as he's now to the high side of Rochelle. And Sam, look at if you get that nose to the outside, you got the run. And Vincent Sora back in the lead. Rochelle's on the inside.
Rochelle trying to hold strong on the outside, but Sinchek going to be trying a slide job move. Not able to do it there, and possibly has another chance here entering 3.
Sinchek will hug that white line with Rochelle hung to the outside. Walter will be behind them. Then you've also got Morris looking on that bottom line. Slides it up in there. It's going to be Sinchek who will take 2nd position away from Rochelle. Rochelle right on the back bumper behind them. Walter, Morris, and Kralik will be racing it up. Kralik is now going to look to the high side of Jacob T. Morris. Going into 1 and 2. Right behind them will be Westfield, who's looking to join the foray along with Moniz and Go Million.
I mean, Moniz, what a run. He started back in 22nd place, now making another charge as we're watching this battle here for 5th place, still side by side. And Morris needs to be careful. He's running so low for so long. This could be hurting him long term if he's not careful and gets back in line.
And so Kralix will get in front, and nice job there by Morris to slide up in the line. As you said, start to save those tires there, Sam. Westfield will be behind Morris, then Moniz, then Go Million and Bird. Boner is now in 11th position. We're going to race it into 3. And it looks like we're pretty much single file all the way back until about 10th position. The 58 of Ryan Bird is on the inside of the 44 of Go Million and will overtake that 9th position right in front of them, Moniz. Go Million back to 9th. Now Bird will dive down to the inside. Whew, they got really close coming out of 4 there.
That squeeze coming out of 4, it's so dangerous just because everyone's tightening up. Some drivers are trying to hold their positions. Others are just letting their car float up. And that's where you start to see that squeeze in the funnel coming out of these corners.
Yeah, it'll definitely make you pucker as Kralix is having a time with Jacob T. Morris. Morris on the inside. Kralix with the preferred line, the high side. But, Morris, I'm with you, Sam. I'm afraid he's going to eat these tires up running that inside.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly is giving a good effort. But, when we saw Sinchek make that slide job move, trying to get up into the lead and get in front of Rochelle, and that was around when these tires were about 13 laps worn. We're now 18 laps into this thing. These tires are not happy whenever you go to the inside. You just cannot carry the momentum like you were earlier on in the run.
So right behind Kralix will be Morrison, and now Westfield is looking to make a run on the high side. He says, hey, Morrison, if you're going to stay down low, I'm going to try to sniff a little bit and see what I can do. Behind him, Moniz, Go Million, and Bird. All right. Oh, who's up against the wall? That's Kralix. Kralix scraping that outside wall, losing many positions. And everybody's having to check up. Foner now dives down to the inside. And look at Kralix back to 13th and still falling.
Yeah, Kralix had already damage from running into the lap car before the stage caution coming out, and that damage was not repaired. And now getting into the outside wall, this is not looking good for the 16. Luckily has a giant bonus of all the points coming into this race, but certainly was hoping to have a top 5 run here, and now with this damage, needing a caution.
Yeah, and look at what it did with the field in front of him. Moniz has moved up to 6th position. He is battling with Morris, who is on the high side behind them. Westfield and Go Million are door to door. And then you've got Foner back there. Woo! Foner just got loose. Saves it on the apron. Good, he comes back up, right up in front of Travel. Oh, now we got all kinds of calamity going on. No caution, racing it out. Yeah, Foner.
Oh my goodness.
Just shook that tail feather a little bit too hard coming out of 4. And now you've got Compton racing Kralix.
Oh my goodness. Foner might have just, if we stay green for the rest of this race, Foner just went from an opportunity to get into the top 8 and go on to the next round to now throwing that chance out the window.
Yeah, fell back to 17th position. Kralix is back to 16th position. So we are on lap 104 of 200 with the NAISCC Cup Series here at Kansas City. At Kansas Speedway, Lee Tidwell, Sam Dyer, and Robert Moyer. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Facebook and YouTube. If you haven't left us a like there on Facebook and YouTube, go ahead and hit that. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Facebook. Get up to date on all the action of Freaky Fast Broadcasting, because we do a lot of broadcasts. It's not just on Saturday night, people. We hear a lot. Lap 105 of 200, and as we look through, the field is still pretty bunched up, Sam. It's not like that, like it was after 26 laps the last time, where the field was, 3/4 of the track spread out. We're still bunched up.
Yeah, we got our front 3. They've been running well and close with one another. Then 4th through 5th, they're having their own battle. And then you go back down to 6th place, and that's when you start to see that whole entire pocket of just kind of a hornet's nest of cars that were jumbled up after the Kralik incident. And yeah, it's giving these drivers a chance to stay close, but I think also it's damage for some of these vehicles. It's keeping them closer when they were running up front.
Looking at the 88 of Adam Westfield in 7th position. Moniz right behind him. Coming out of 2, going to look down to the inside was Moniz, and we switched the camera. Moniz will overtake Westfield. Go Million now looking to the inside of him as well. Looking at, there we go. Thank you, sir. Moniz, there's Go Million to the inside of Westfield as we come out of 4 across the start finish line. Go Million has moved up to 8th position, which is really going to help him out, sitting in 6th in points. This should help solidify that moving on to the round of 8.
Yeah, it went from Foner being the biggest challenge for Go Million to now worrying about some of these drivers that are now struggling. All the drivers that had a potential chance to try to go after Go Million, they're now having heavy damage and needing to use, if they're one of their fast repairs, most likely when they come into the pits here in the next 20 to 25 laps.
Riding along with the 25 of Martin Morales in 10th position. Morales has nobody in front of him but a slew, just a plethora of cars behind him. Thorna, Compton, Kralik, Hernandez, Trammell, Huffstutler. Lots of cars that if he doesn't keep this pace, he could start seeing in that rearview mirror. What about Zachary Compton? Up to 12th position now. After, not a very good first stage.
No, he was a lap down, battling our leader for the longest time. Got that lucky dog position, and now running in 12th. I think with running around, Sora was able to get some knowledge of, okay, this is where I need to run the racetrack if I want to stay quick here around this stage, because around 28 laps that these drivers have been on these tires, this is around the time that we were seeing Sora right before that yellow came out for the end of stage 1.
So speaking of Sora, let's jump up there and take a look. Sora is in 2nd position behind Tom Sinchek. That gap is, that gap is little bitty. It's just little bitty. It's a 10th of a second, little bitty. Sora's looking to the back side of the 5 of Tom Sinchek. Ooh, man, came out of 4. Look at him. He is right on his rear bumper. You can almost get a tattoo of the Mustang in his tail end as we go into 1.
Just trying to give us a little bit of a bumper kiss there, getting close enough for a chance.
It's also giving Kyle Rochelle a chance to kind of run him down a little bit. Rochelle 7/10 of a second behind him, but running identical lap time.
Yeah, right now, Rochelle running just a little, about 100 slower than what our front 2 are doing, but keeping it close enough. He's within a half a second of Sora, so he's within the draft, still getting that little bit of a boost on these straightaways.
Lap 113 of 200. Sinchek will continue to lead. Sora in 2nd, Rochelle 3rd, Morris 4th, Walter will be in 5th. Then we got Bird, Moniz, Gomillion, Westfield, and Morales. Zachary Compton and Jesse Thornton kind of battling a little bit here. That is for 11th position. Compton has fallen back to 12th with Kralix in 13th, looking to chase him down. Kralix trying to claw and scratch his way back. But with that damage, how much momentum, how much speed does he really have in that in that Ford Mustang?
I don't. It's not looking good. He already had some front end damage for Kralik, and now having that lot of damage on the right side after getting into the wall, it is not looking good for the 16. But once he comes in the pits, going to be able to use a fast repair, try to fully change up and restore that car to have a better shot.
Lap 115 of 200, and we're stuck now. Here comes Sora. Sora to the inside. Nope, take that back. That's Trammell on fresh tires, just going shoom past Sora, and now past Sinchek, getting one of his laps back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we actually had 3 drivers coming into the pits. Trammell, one of those drivers, also Nicholas Compton, and Max Forner going to be those 3 drivers that came into the pits. Joshua Pike going to be in pit road. It's been in there for 11 minutes. Heavy contact and damage to the 70 machine. Not looking good to come back in the race.
Yeah, so Kansas is starting to take its toll on some of these drivers and vehicles here. As we are on lap 116 of 200. Sinchek, Sora, Rochelle, Morrison, Walter will be your top 5. Then Bird, Moniz, Gomillion, Westfield, and Morales, your top 10. So don't forget about the super uber duper fine sponsors that bring you Freaky Fast Broadcasting and the NAISCC Cup, and they are the ButtKicker and the Gamer 2. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience, and the ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car, from ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving a physical mass instead of only air like traditional speakers, the Gamer 2 provides an instant, accurate, powerful bass response, and it's all perfectly in sync with every game with no additional software required. Check out the Gamer 2 at thebuttkicker.com. Use promo code FreakyFast20 for 20% off your order of the Gamer 2 at thebuttkicker.com. Also brought to you by the SimBox Store. You want to take your sim rig to the next level? Get yourself a button box from the SimBox Store today. These quality handcrafted button boxes feature 32 functions and will deliver immersion like never before. You can reach them on their Facebook page at SimBox Store or view their box options on their eBay store. And don't forget to like their page and let them know that Freaky Fast sent you. The SimBox Store, you really push our buttons. Lap 119 of 200, Sinchek will continue to lead and has pulled out a bit of a lead now over Vincent Sora, I believe, if my timing is correctly. 0.3 of a second. So Sora not right there on that rear bumper anymore.
No, Sora is backed off just slightly, and honestly, it looks like our front 2, they're slowing down a little bit, giving time for Kyle Rochelle to pounce. But as I said, at the last lap time, Sinchek, what a great time. Going to be running about 0.6 faster than 0.6 hundredths faster than the 15 and the 1. Doing a great job for themselves. Also want to report Patrick Hernandez has pulled it into the pits and did get fresh tires 2 laps ago. So we're starting to see drivers that are trying to split this race into these final 80 laps on how to go 40 laps per 40 laps. While our front runners, they're going to be pushing it all the way to the end.
So lap 121 is we're going to kind of look back through our field a bit. Huff Stutler, the number 94 in 14th position. Huff Stutler, he shows glimpses of brilliance and then always seems to end up in something not of his own doing. And it's been something every race that I've watched with him where you see those flashes of someone that can drive it to the front and win the race, and then something happens and he tends to either get caught up in it or get caught behind it. Now back to 14th position, down 6 spots. Really needed a good run tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the professor certainly was needing a better run here today. I think it was around lap 70 he came over the radio and just like, this is just not my racetrack. So really just trying to survive this racetrack. I think his goal might be just to finish on the lead lap. Right now, the last car on the lead lap is the 94. And we're inching closer and closer. Right now, Lee, we're looking like we're going to be around 10 to 15 laps before we start to see drivers coming to the pits. And with the timing on how these pit stops are going to be, drivers might have to come in and short pit one more time after this next pit stop.
Kralix just overtakes Westfield for 11th position and now looking at Thornick in front of him, trying to chase him down. So Kralix said he's not out of this just yet, fellas. And then Zachary Compton, man, from a lap down, now 12th position, up 5 from his start. He's had a heck of a race. Right behind Compton was Halsey. Was that Halsey who's up against the wall?
It was Westfield.
Westfield, man. Yeah, got a little loose and then just tapped that wall and then started sliding backwards. Westfield has now dropped back to 14th position. Gives Huffstutler another spot.
Yeah, it looked like the 88 felt like it was better to keep the car inside and closer to the wall instead of bouncing back into another driver. So went with the safer route, but hurting him drastically. Now back to 14th.
Yeah, and that's something that when you get to the quality of drivers like the NAISCC have and stuff, that when a mistake happens, being able to have that mental fortitude of I'm going to keep it against the wall, not to take anyone else out, or if you happen to get taken, you get loose and go down to the apron, locking it down, turning that wheel left and not letting it come back up on the track like you see in some of these official races, and some people that are new to iRacing that I've watched NASCAR all my life, I know how to do this, boy, woo, let's do it. And then they go on the apron and they come sliding up the track and take out half the field. These guys know how to collect themselves and take it to where they cause as least amount of calamity as possible, hopefully just to themselves.
Yeah, it's a lot of respect that you got to be giving out to your other competitors, not to just go out there and accidentally ruin someone else's race when you're having a bad time. So tons of respect to all the drivers and the way that they have been trying to hold themselves up to a higher standard.
Lap 127 of 200. Sinchek will continue to lead. Then Sora, Rochelle, Morrison, Walter, your top 5. Moniz has moved up to 6. Bird in 7th. Gomillion 8th. Morales 9th. Thornick in 10th. And Kralik has moved up to 11th. And he is sniffing the tailpipe of Jesse Thornick right now, trying to crack back open that top 10.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lap times that Kralik's putting down. This 16 machine running just as fast as the drivers from 5th on back. So if the 16 car gets into a better rhythm here and maybe thinks about short pitting, could be gaining a lot of positions here. Certainly has the speed to run for 5th place. It's everyone else in front of them that they are still running about 3 to 4 tenths faster than the rest of the field.
And right behind them, Halsey is in 15th position. He is between Kralik and Zachary Compton, who is in 12th. And he is just holding it high, letting Compton have that inside. Ooh, he taps the wall. Halsey scrapes the wall, trying to stay out of the way of Compton and Huffstutler. And scrapes that outside wall and then starts blinking. He did something to the Matrix.
Hitting the wall, did not know it causes you to blink, but that is what we are seeing now. The 4 machine was aiming to be the lucky dog position, but after this little bit of a scuffle, could be dropping back and losing that lucky dog spot to Max Forner, who's been really looking for a chance here, trying to get back on the lead lap and a potential chance to try to get past Gomillion and get into the top 8 in points.
So why does Halsey have a Hydra symbol on the front of his car?
Hail Hydra.
That's like one of my favorite lines in Winter Soldier. No, it wasn't Winter Soldier when he did that. It was Endgame. When Captain America was trying to get the Loki scepter back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, comic book throwback. Have you watched WandaVision?
I have. Watched it all.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
I'm so excited for Winter Soldier and Falcon coming out.
Yeah, that starts in 2 weeks. Next week's supposed to be a bonus episode of WandaVision. We've got the Black Widow movie coming out, Spider-Man No Way Home scheduled to come out Christmas. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So for MCU fans, that we kind of had a pause in 2020 with everything that went on, but we should really start seeing things turn up, because you think about the Disney Plus series, you've got WandaVision, and then it's immediately after that is Falcon Winter Soldier. Immediately after that is going to be Loki, and they just keep it going. And while all this is going on, then we get to look forward to season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Oh, I cannot wait for season 3 of The Mandalorian. I am a huge Marvel and Star Wars fan. Can't wait for both of them. Got my Disney Plus immediately. But these drivers inching closer, as do want to say we are within about 3 to 4 laps when we're going to be seeing pit road get extremely busy.
Yeah, and the big thing's going to be is who is going to pit first. Will it be Sinchek or will it be Sora? I honestly think if I was Sinchek, I would go ahead, because Sora's fast. He's going to be fast. Getting the pit stop out of the way, getting your fresh tires, and then trying to pull. Maybe that's the way to go. Maybe you stay out there as long as you possibly can, as long as you have this half-second lead over Sora, and try to make him pit first. I don't know.
I mean, based off of our front 3 right now, I mean, you also can throw Morris in there. He's close enough. He's about 2.7 seconds back. Still has a chance. Of our front 4, the goal is to be the last car to pit. If you are the last car to pit, you're going to have an advantage moving forward, because then you have the chance to run down the other cars. You're going to have such a great... I mean, we saw Kyle Rochelle able to try to run down Sora there coming to the end of stage 1. And we know Sora's got a very fast machine. Guy's a great shot. I think if we see the 15 stay out there the longest, best shot to win this race.
Looking at the 10 of Jacob Morris doing 185 miles an hour across the start-finish line. And into 1 and 2. His best lap number 2, last lap of 31.483. Trying to chase down Rochelle and hold off Walter, who Thomas Walter looking to try to make up some of that gap. But I mean, he's got a 4-second lead there between Morris and Walter.
I am trying to figure out what exactly happened, but the middle of the field, they just got scrambled. I think it's because we got some drivers with fresher tires that have pitted already, but around 10th place, we've got a hornet's nest of so many cars just on top of one another.
Let's see here. Let's go back to that area of the track. Oh my gosh. There is. Let's go to the 25 of Martin Morales. We've got Freilich involved. There's Morales right there. Morales is going to overtake Compton. Now to the inside of Compton is the 51 of Forner, who is a lap down. Zachary Compton. Huffstutler's back there. You've got Kralik. You got Westfield. And as soon as we go, they all settled into single file. Guys, why can't y'all keep racing like you were before we put the cameras back here now?
They're a little camera shy. They don't want to wreck themselves. They want to keep it neat and clean, like they aren't doing anything silly.
Huffstutler with a nice run on the high side there of Zachary Compton. Back behind them will be Kralik as we race it out of 4. Huffstutler looking to stick that high line and overtake Compton. That is a battle for 11th position. Can the Professor break back into the top 10?
Ooh, pit road's getting busy. Leaders coming in.
So Sinchek in. That leaves Sora out. Rochelle, Morris. They all stay out. Moniz stays out. Bird stays out.
Right now, Sinchek most likely have to pit again. Sora tried to push it out, tried to stay in the draft. That was the key thing I think Vincent Sora was doing. Could have made the pass, but trying to stay in the draft to push the be at the marker of possibly laps.
Here comes Sora. So Sora comes in, Rochelle comes in. So all of our leaders starting to come in right now. Walter is in. Gomillion is in. Here comes Thornton, Morales, pit party! Kralik's in. So lots of people pitting on 140. Looking at that 60 lap to go mark.
Ooh,
That's going to be pushing it.
Morse just is coming in now, and he was just about to start lap 60. So he could possibly make it if he goes slow enough here. There is a chance, yeah. It's just on the brink, but I think the 10 might be sputtering when he comes across the line.
Oh, he overdrove his box just a bit, though. Morris did. Had to back it up. Going to put, let's see, Ryan Bird into first position. But Bird has not pitted yet. Huff-Cutler and Compton. Hit them brakes, boy.
Don't get caught speeding. That is one of the major things you do not want to get caught. This could possibly be your money stop for the drivers that have been stretching it out as far as they can. We talked about Huff-Stuffler. You gave him the nickname as the professor. I think he might have cracked the code and those numbers, as he has been out there for 61 laps, about to be 62 if he gets to the line. But could he run out of fuel?
He's pitting this time. He slowed up. I'm not sure if it was just a checkup so he could pit because he had Morris in front of him or what, but he is coming in this time. And that will shake the field back up. Sinchek is on the middle of the backstretch. So he should be able to take the lead back, but depending on how quick Huff-Stuffler can get this pit stop in and out, it might be a magnificent maneuver for him and a big position jump from where he was earlier in this race.
Yeah, I know. This is some risky calls that are being made by some of these drivers that were stretching it as far as they could. We were given the numbers of possibly 45 to 50 laps these drivers could go. But, with the factor of the draft, certainly pushed that number out. And that's one thing that we're seeing our front runners. They're not close to anyone really, and they're going to be burning up their fuel quick here. Max Forner, he's right now in 5th place, but needs to come into the pits here in the next 20 laps or so. And then once he makes that pit stop, should be good to make it to the end.
So Sinchek will inherit the lead after all of that. Well, take it back over, I guess you would say. Sora in 2nd, Rochelle 3rd, Morris 4th, Walter 5th. Then you've got Foner, who, as you said, has not pitted since lap 113. Moniz in 7th, Bird in 8th, Gomillion 9th, Thornick in 10th with Kralik in 11th position. What how big is the lead for Sinchek?
3.3 seconds is the difference between 1st and 2nd, which... The question is Sora just slowing down and backing down his pace? Right now, running about a 10th off. It's going to be Kyle Rochelle that is the quickest car out here, just burning down the tires and trying to get up to Sora if possible. But our front two have really slowed down, and I think they might be thinking about saving fuel. And Morris, he pitted later than everyone else and is already being about 2/10 to almost 3/10 slower than our front two. He is going for the save.
Yep, he's in 4th position and charging. So Sinchek, Sora, Rochelle, Morris, and Walter will be your top 5. Looking at the number 10 of Morris now. He is in 4th position. Thomas Walter in 5th. He is 7/10 of a second behind Jacob Morris. In front of Morris will be Joshua Pike, who is a lap vehicle that is on pit road, so he is actually not in front of him. But Zachary Compton will be, and it's 6 seconds.
Yeah, update on another driver DNFing. It's going to be Patrick Hernandez, not able to finish out this race. It's going to be our 2nd DNF of this circuit.
Patrick Hernandez not able to make it back out, and that will hurt him. Let me see. He was in 11th. Looking to make his way into that top 8. That will end his playoff hopes.
Yeah, you've got also Ferraro and Tremmel. They both are going to be 4 laps down. And most likely their chances are dwindling away with each lap that ticks off. They're going to need a lot of cautions if they want to get back into this thing.
Lap 149 of 200. about to be 150 of 200. Sinchek, Sora, Rochelle, Morris, and Walter as we look around the field. Ryan Bird in that number 58 has Moniz right behind him. That is a battle for 6th position.
These two have been duking it out for a while now. I think they've been on each other for the past about 30 laps or so. And not really able to get away from one another, especially even with the fresher tires. You'd think this would be the chance for the 5 to make the pass on Bird. Just not able to.
So Moniz looking to climb his way on up. Same thing with Maurice Gomillion in the number 44. He is in 8th position behind these guys.
Well, this was something I didn't bring up at the start, but I should have brought it up. Kansas is always known for strategy calls on who's going to be able to save the fuel, who's not. Yes, tires are so important here for the first about 3/4 of this race. But once you get to that final quarter, it's all about where have you placed yourself and have you made the right fuel strategy to make it to the end to beat out some of these other drivers.
Absolutely. Lap 153 of 200. We're looking at the 44 of Maurice Gomillion from good old DC. Driving that Valvoline number 44.
I think Gomillion right now has to be that driver that everyone that is outside of the top 8, everything, that's the driver I can possibly knock out, as all the other drivers that were in that too close could be knocked out. They're running in the top 6 and really are looking really strong. With Bird, was 1 point ahead of Walter. Walter right now, another one of those drivers running in 5th place. He was that bubble driver. Gomillion right now in 8th place. But he was only ahead of Walter by 1 point, and we're looking at that 51. That is the car. If the strategy works out, could pass the 44 and could be making a strategy call, put himself into the next round.
Yeah, I mean, with like you talked about, there's 1 point separating Foner and Walter. And right now, there is 4 spots separating them on this race. So Foner really looking to finish ahead of Thomas Walter and crack that top 8 and move on in the playoff. And riding along with, I believe this is the 51 of Foner and that Bose audio machine.
That rainbow and that hood looking good.
Bose has actually got some really good sounding stuff. It's just so expensive.
Yeah. I mean, their headsets are so good. I wish that they weren't as expensive, but I mean, it's worth the price. I mean, the quality is that good.
So Sinchek, Sora, Rochelle, Morrison, Walter continue to be your top 5. Sinchek is now pulled at a 2.7 second lead over Sora. He's 3.8 seconds ahead of Rochelle.
They certainly are keeping it close right now. The battle that is for 5th place. Looks like Bird has finally been able to catch up to the 57. It looks like Walter's tires certainly have fallen off, as now the battle for 5th place, about to be a 3-horse battle. It's going on, and yes, we're seeing a long green flag run here, and it's going to be like this probably for the rest of this race. But we're going to a very similar track next week. We're going to Chicagoland to go on to the next race, which is more strategy calls, pretty similar racing. And Lee, I don't know if you're ready for another long green flag run race.
You know, I'm just going to have just a list of random facts that I can throw out about anything, just because. Moniz is looking to use that momentum on the high side to pass the 57 of Walter and get into that top 6.
Top 6, so close. Moniz certainly, what a run for this 5 machine. I got to give credit. Started all the way back in 22nd place, now trying to break into 6th. And I did not think that Moniz had a chance to get into the top 10, especially with the way qualifying went. But, you know, after stage 1, this 5 car just found the speed and has been able to stay in the top 10.
40 laps to go here from Kansas Speedway, as we have been watching this knockout round, this round of 16 that will become only 8 drivers left when we finish in this for the playoffs. And most of the top 8 are in. 57 got a little wiggly there of Walter. Look at Moniz though. He's slowly but surely trying to chase down the 57 of Walter, but then right behind them, you've got the 80 of Nicholas Compton, a lap vehicle, who is starting to catch up with all of them. Moniz now down to the inside of Walter, and that inside line, you know, these tires are hot enough now. That inside line is going to be hard to make a pass on, but Moniz is going to make it work. Look at that. Can he get the slide job? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that 80 machine just came into the pits 11 laps ago, so has 9 lap fresher tires. Going to be trying to pass our lead lap machines, but don't make contact, as oh no, Walters does not want to see that. He is just looking for a consistent run if he wants to make it into the top 8. And that was a terrifying moment there with a lap machine.
Yeah, the 80 of Compton, Nicholas Compton. You know, luckily he held it down to that bottom, but it was one of those where it was a clinching moment for just a moment coming out of 4 of what possibly could have been.
Could have been terrifying. One of the drivers looking at that needs to pit still. We know that Max Horner back in 10th place, that 51 machine, is going to have to pit at some point. We know that just because he's been out there for 49 laps, cannot make it the rest of the way. But once we see that 51 pit, know that he's good. And when that pit cycled all the way around on this previous green flag pit stop, that 51 was up to 5th place. A driver that was caught up in an accident, didn't really have a chance, and now has a possibility of winging his way into the round of 8.
Yeah, and he's 2 seconds ahead of Morales. So, you know, 60 laps is a lot on these tires on this track with this car.
It's a lot, but we just saw drivers go 62, almost 63 laps. Yes, they were the cars that were slower and were actually running the pace to make that march. And that's why we've been seeing a lot of drivers really backing down their speed and not really trying to push their cars at all. Drivers that were up front that are now making a pretty good charge. I gotta say, our front 3, they have backed it down a lot, understanding fuel runs, because Jacob Morris is one of the fastest cars on the track, but he's in 4th place, 12 seconds back from our leaders.
Speaking of the leaders, Sinchek will bring it out of 4 and be crossing the line to make it lap 167 of 200 to be 34 to go. Behind him is Sora, 2.5 seconds. Sinchek a 1/10 of a second faster that lap than Sora, so still slowly pulling that gap out. Rochelle, though, running the same lap times as Sinchek, so chasing Sora down by 1/10 of a second. Sinchek is actually faster than the top 10.
Yeah, and that's because everyone else is thinking safe. This is a waiting game at this point. Oh boy, lap car in front. Gotta be careful, as you know, we're around that lap 20 on these tires, and that's when the tires really start to fade off, and you start to see drivers that are pushing it a little bit too hard, as that was the 88 getting out of shape there in front of Rochelle. You gotta be careful. Your tires are getting heating up, and that loose sensation coming out of 4 and out of 2, it's going to be marching more and more every lap.
Adam Westfield had his hands full with that one, as we are now at 32 laps to go, with our leader still being Sinchek.
I mean, Lee, it's a waiting game at this point, and we can look into the future. Our round of 8, that is going to be a place where the drivers are going to be really focusing on. We go to Chicagoland next week, and then another wild card going to Talladega to finish out, see who's going to be in our final 4 next round. It is going to be a hectic one.
I like Talladega. That's a fun track.
Oh, it's a blast. I love super speedway racing. You never know who's got a chance to win it. I mean, for this round of 16, you could say that Bristol was our wild card race. I mean, I don't think anyone really saw the 5 winning that one, but with all the big wrecks that happened, it gave the 5 an opportunity to lock into the round of 8, and then Talladega, another chance for someone we don't expect to win it. They have got a shot.
And some people hitting pit road now. Trammell on pit road, but most of those the lapped vehicles. I'm still looking to see. So Phoner came in.
He overshot his box, so that's going to be losing time that he cannot be losing. He needs to be perfect on these final pit stops, just in case drivers start to run out of fuel. You want to be as close as possible to try to take those positions away.
Looking now at the 15, Vincent Sora. He is in 2nd position behind Sinchek. 2 seconds is now the gap. So made up a little bit of that, 'cause it wasn't like 2.7 at one point in time.
Yeah, making a little bit of a charge, and it's going to be really a chess match between our top 4 on who's going to slow down more, who's going to speed up more, who's really taking it easy. Rochelle last lap was about over a half a second off, but that's because he's being passed right now by lap cars, and you got to be careful when you're racing around lap machines on how aggressive they're going to be to try to get around you.
Yep, exactly, sir. Moniz is in 6th position, and he's got a little bit of traffic around him. Bird in front of him, 0.2 of a second. That's in. Bird's in 5th. Nicholas Compton, a lapped vehicle, in the 19th position right behind him. Then you got Thomas Walter. So those 4 coming into 3 now. And the real race is going to be Moniz and Bird for that 5th position. Oh, man, I just pushed the wrong button there. But Moniz, with him being in, the 4th position there in the playoffs, finishing 5th or 6th. Is going to guarantee that he moves on. So I would not push this too extremely hard, but that's one thing about Dakota Moniz is when he's like a shark. When he smells blood, he has to attack, and I don't think the guy knows how to hold back.
Well, I think that's he could be thinking about holding back on this one because he's been following Bird this whole entire run. Everyone else they've been so spread out by seconds, not able to utilize the draft as a way to save fuel. It's been Dakota Moniz that's been staying behind the 58 this whole entire time. Yes, there's been moments where the 5s try to make the pass, but has been able to try to save fuel the drafting way, and that could be setting up the 5 for a chance to gain some positions if drivers in front of them can't make it.
Yeah, Rob Upham says that if they run this 60 laps to the end without pitting, we're going to be seeing some Tokyo drift going on.
We'll see if they even have a chance to burn it down, do some drifting. I don't know. They might be sputtering. Some of these drivers, if they can make it, they'll be just coasting it coming out of 4. It is going to be very close. Expecting drivers to really slow down on the backstretch if they're going to be slow. And just looking at the lead, at least Sinchek has that 2-second lead, so has a slight buffer. If he needs to slow down a little bit more, save a few more ounces here or there, to hope that he can make it to the end. I don't see how Sinchek can make it though. He was looking to be about 4 laps slow, 4 laps not to the good. So it does not look good for the 8 to win this race, but Sora and Rochelle, they're going to be curious on they can make it. I've got a really good feeling that Morsk is good to make it in 4th place. But our front 3, it is a big question mark if they can make it to the end.
Walter passes Moniz going through 3 and 4. Then Moniz drops to the inside and a crossover into 1. looking to hold that bottom line. Is he going to do the slide job up in front of Walter? And Walter checks up just enough, and we continue on. Here, right now, look how close they are going into three. Man, and Walter then has to let up behind him. Nicholas Compton in that number 80 again, running in 19th position. So we got 22 to go. Going to be 21 when we cross the line. Nope, just make it 22 anyways with the NAISCC Cup Series here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. In 10th position, Martin Morales in the number 25. Morales is up 5 spots. He's now up 6 in 9th position. Rochelle just came in and pitted.
Yeah, Rochelle had to come in, not confident on making it. Felt like was going to be short, going to be coming in with a full stop. I'm surprised by that. Went with 4 tires and fuel. Rochelle is going with the chance to try to burn down those tires and gain all this time back.
We got more guys hitting pit road as we speak. Sinchek just hit pit road. Our second place car will bring that Chevy into pit road. That puts Vincent Sora into the lead. Will he stay out? Will he try to run it? Does he have enough to finish this race without another stop? Jacob T. Morris into second. Ryan Bird third. Dakota Moniz fourth. Thomas Walter into fifth. Gomillion sixth. Thornick in seventh. And Sinchek is in 8th position. Make it 9th and out of the pits now.
Vincent Sora, immediately after seeing the front 2 drivers that he was going to be competing with, once he saw both of them go to the pits, he dropped his pace by over a second, understanding he's got over a 9-second gap lead at one point over Morris. It's dwindling away now, but that's because Sora is trying to save fuel as much as possible.
I wonder how much he's clutching into these turns.
I don't think he's getting back into the throttle until he gets to the restart zone at this point with how much he is trying to save.
Yeah, look at his RPMs. He's clutching the turns. When he goes to the turn, he's holding that clutch down, dropping that RPM, saving fuel. So let's watch right here as we come down the backstretch with Vincent Sora. He's going to try to make it go. Look, boom. Drops it all the way down. He is just riding now with the clutch down. And then as he comes and exits, off the clutch, back on the gas.
He's trying his best. He's going to be right on the brink.
I mean, with 17 to go, if either he's clutching it to ensure that he's got enough, or he knows that he doesn't. If you don't, this is the time to make the stop with that big lead that you have, and then charge your way back up, because he is one of the fastest guys on the track all day long.
He has lost it now. I mean, with him clutching as much as he has, Morris has just got up. It is 2.2 seconds now. And Sora can clutch for a little bit more, but it's about to be less than a second. At the pace that Morris is catching up to Sora, he's going to have to go soon, unless he's thinking, hey, let's just try to hold this out and see how far I can stay out here for.
Jacob Morris in the 10. Now 0.8 of a second behind Vincent Sora. Sora going to drop it down into 3, and then he's still clutching, and look at Morris. Driving right up to the backside, going to look it to the outside. Vincent Sora and Jacob Morris will overtake the lead. Sora's trying to play the long game here. He's like, go ahead. You can run out of gas if you want to. I'm going to ride around.
Yeah, but the driver that Sora has to worry about is going to be the 8 of Centric. In 8th place right now is a total of 22.4 seconds back from the leader, but is making a hard charge. He took only fuel, and I think he might have taken right sides. This 8 car trying to make a charge to get back up to the front, but it's going to be a tall order, as well as you got Kyle Rochelle. He's back in 11th, but 27 seconds back from our leader.
14 to go here at Kansas on Freaky Fast Broadcasting with the NAISCC Cup Series. Lee Tidwell, Sam Dyer, and Oz himself, Robert A. Moya Jr., joining you for this wonderful Saturday evening. We thank everyone on Facebook and YouTube for joining us. And if you're not watching us live, if you're watching us sometime in the future, Hello, future people. Do you have flying cars yet?
Oh, flying cars are so dangerous. Like, we need air control just for planes. Imagine flying cars.
I feel like Back to the Future, though. You got hovering little lights to put your lanes.
You think people would use lanes? Indicators are barely used when you're on the highway.
No, that's true. What's really bad is when you're driving home from work and you have to take a turn a certain way and you start coordinating it with what you do in iRacing and you're like, man, I gotta make sure I separate the two.
Very true. Oh boy. Sora is losing more positions. He's now down to 4th place after being passed by the 58 and the 5.
Yep, so Bird and Moniz will pass Sora. And like Robert was saying in our ears, Sora's made his bed. He's just going to write it out and see what happens. Does Morris, Bird, or Moniz have enough to finish this race out?
Sora is no longer thinking about clutching. He is on the go. He is no longer saving. He is on go time. I think he feels like he's got enough fuel to make it to the end, as now he's trying to get back into 2nd place.
Yep, Sora now passing Monaz for 3rd, looking at Ryan Bird in front of him. And now trying to make the charge for Jacob T. Morris with 10 to go. Going to be Morris, Bird, Sora, Moniz, Walter. Your top 5, Gomillion, Thornock, Sinchek, Rochelle, and Kralik. Your top 10. Driving it down across the start-finish line, 9 to go. Sora looking to get around Ryan Bird and chase down the number 10 of Jacob T. Morris. Morris, he's got a huge lead, though. Morris is going into 3 now. As Sora is just down the middle of the backstretch. Sora will overtake 2nd. You got to watch out for Halsey. Halsey, he's in 17th, but he's uber fast. Halsey pitted on 184, so new tires, full tank, can't lose kind of mentality.
Yeah. I mean, looking at Morris and the fact that he is not letting off, he is just going for it. I think this 10 feels like he's good to make it to the end.
Yeah, he pitted on 141, so I don't know. And I didn't see him trying to save fuel the way that Sora did. So, and I've called a couple of races where we get to the white flag and down that backstretch, all of a sudden the leader just slows because they ran out of gas, and seen people lose because of that.
Yeah, I mean, Sora started saving in the past 15 laps, right? That was when he was thinking about saving. While Morris was thinking about saving immediately after pitting, he was already backing down his pace and trying to run about 2-3 tenths, sometimes even a half a second slower than the front 3. So he was about 4 seconds back from our leaders at the time, just letting them run as fast as they want. And Morris is just now feeling like he's comfortable, confident, and he could take off.
So you've got Morris, Sora, Bird, Moniz, Walter, Gomillion, Thornock, Kralik, and Morales all have not pitted since lap 140/141, depending on the driver. Right now, your leader, Jacob T. Morris, with a almost insurmountable lead. And Morris is not even in the playoff contention.
No, playing spoiler, taking one of these victories away from playoff drivers and not allowing them to have a chance, really. But they're still about to be 4 laps to go, and these drivers know that it was going to be a stretch. It's going to be so close. He's still up front, but I mean, if we see him sputtering, it's going to be on that white flag.
Kyle Rochelle in the number one's in 9th position. He put down the fastest lap of the race on lap 190. No, take that back. He put it down on lap 182, a 29.964. Our first sub 30-second lap was run by Rochelle.
Go Millions in the pits. This is a chance for Bump Foner to have a chance to try to steal away a final position points-wise.
Go Million comes in the pits. Foner is in 14th position. And he is coming out of 4 now. Foner across the start-finish line. Go Million just coming out of the pits. And Foner will overtake him, move up into 13. But I don't know. I don't think one position will be enough.
He needs 2. And it's just too far back, but there's still a lot of time for drivers to run out of fuel and possibly steal away a position or 2.
Oh, this could be crazy for Go Million to fall out of the top 8. Because Foner pitted on 169. He made the right call on his situation.
And he took tires, so he's got the much fresher tires than the rest of the field. And so he's trying to run down everyone that he can. The tires will start to equal out at some point, but Max Foner trying his best, but it is going to be a long wait as he waits to see if anyone else can make it.
1 to go, white flag. Look at Morris. He's having to clutch. Will he have enough? Ryan Bird is still got a lot of room he has to make up. Morris brings it down into the... Whoa. Morris through 4. Runs out of gas. Drop to the apron. Can he make it across? And he does. He coasts to a victory. Jacob T. Morris will coast into the victory. Bird will be in 2nd. And Moniz will be in 3rd. Walker 4th and Sinchek 5th. Wow, what a race. Can Morris even make it around for the burnout being out of gas?
He's going to need a push. He's out. He's going to need a push. And also, Go Million, it was stressful there at the end. Wasn't sure if everyone else in front of him was going to be able to save fuel. They were. Go Millions making it to the next round.
Man, lots of craziness. We've got a Cinderella upset story for the win. We've got someone making it into the top 8 and someone getting bumped out. And look at them pushing Morris. Like, come on, big boy. I got you. Let's go. And that's Foner pushing him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. He was like, here. Go at least just spin it around or stop.
Just stop right there. Get your photo. You were there at the line.
So there is your top 3, Morris, Bird, and Moniz. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will have the top 3 in the booth talking to Sam about what happened today. And next week here, once we drop it down to 8 drivers in the playoff. We'll be back in just a moment here with the NAISCC Cup Series on Freaky Fast Broadcast. And back here at Kansas Speedway, we have our top three finishers. We're going to be joining Sam in the booth for our post-race interviews. First, we're going to bring up our third place finisher, Mr. Dakota Moniz, who in that number 5 machine. Sam.
Dakota, you got it done. Able to finish in third place. Fuel mileage. What an amazing race it was. But let's start off from the beginning. How was this race going through all of that traffic?
It was pretty tough. The setup was fairly loose in the beginning, so you had to definitely take it easy when trying to pass people, or you'd end up getting sideways behind them.
Yeah, I mean,
But
Dakota, we saw the fact that you were trying to, after stage 1, you really were up in the top 10. What was that change that you had to make there from stage 1 to stage 2?
I think it was just being a little easier on my tires than I was the first stage. Just taking it easy on there and having them towards the end of the run and able to make passes there towards the end was definitely key.
And then Lee, you got a question?
No, sir, not at all. Sorry, I was pulling up other point standings and stuff, so I was not paying attention. My bad. I'm so sorry. Dakota number 1, I got your name right this week.
All right, awesome.
Yeah. So when you watch it back, you'd be like, hey, now I did slip up a couple times, but then I corrected myself immediately. So that's the first thing. Second thing, coming in 4th in points, you've finished 3rd here tonight. You're moving on to the round of 8. How important was it? I know, of course, it's vastly important to finish in that round of 8, but how important was it to finish in that top 3 for those points going on through the playoffs?
It's a huge confidence boost going into the next round for sure. Going to Chicagoland next week. I'm fairly similar track to Kansas, so I feel like I'll be able to do pretty good there. And then Dega to round it out. That's a toss up, but yeah, it's definitely builds my confidence for the next round.
Awesome, sir. Well, congratulations on that podium finish this evening. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to say hello to or give a shout out to that might be watching tonight?
Just shout out to everyone that tuned in tonight, and then all the sponsors, and of course, you guys are putting on an amazing broadcast.
Awesome, sir. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on the podium finish. We'll see you next week in Chicago.
All right, thank you guys.
And that's Dakota Moniz, your 3rd place finisher. As now we're going to bring up Mr. Ryan Bird. Ryan finishing in 2nd tonight.
Ryan, it's Sam up in the booth. You had a great run for yourself. You were racing with Dakota for most of this race. Coming close to the end there, how was the fuel from your point of view?
Extremely tight. I don't know how Jacob made it. I pitted 2 laps after he did, and I only had about a lap to the good.
Yeah, no, it is incredible that 10 even had the fuel to make that run. But how was it for you? You were battling with Dakota most of this race. How was that battle trying to also think about saving fuel?
I think we were both saving. He was just keeping me honest. There was a couple times he got to my inside, and I just had to rip the top as hard as I could to get back clear of him.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, great showing on your part. Where you finished should be putting you into the next round of 8 for the playoffs. How are you feeling about going to Chicagoland?
Love Chicagoland. Depending on the setup, it's my favorite intermediate on iRacing. So I feel good. It's all going to hinge on Dega about the Final 4.
Well, Ryan, it was a great run on your part. Any shout outs you got?
My teammates, Max Foner and Patrick Hernandez, neither of them had very good nights tonight, just bad luck and catching the wall. Sea Shepherd, I always have on the car. Just really appreciate what they're doing for our oceans. Go buy a t-shirt if you can, help save some whales. That's about it.
That's Ryan Bird in the 58 machine, able to get a 2nd place finish. We'll see you battling for those top 8 and trying to get for a championship 4.
Take it easy, guys.
And like Sam said, that's Mr. Ryan Bird. Now let's bring up our race winner and find out exactly how he did have that gas as we bring up Mr. Jacob Morris.
Jacob, Sam up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got a copy.
So you were sputtering out of 4, but we saw that you felt like you were pushing it pretty aggressive there with about 3 to go. When did you know that you had enough to make it to the end?
Oh, I knew like around lap 171, I knew I was gonna have enough going off the fuel calculator. And the crew chief, was telling me I wasn't gonna make it. I thought I was pretty sure I was gonna make it because I pitted on 141. I knew the fuel run was 60 laps, so I knew I might be like one corner short, and sure enough, I was. So I had a good enough gap between me and Ryan Bird. So I just coasted it home.
Were you ever concerned that maybe those front three drivers of seeing Kyle and the others running out of fuel? Did you think at that point maybe I am concerned, or did you think maybe they had a chance to run all the way?
As soon as Tom went to pit, as soon as I got told Tom was going to pit, I knew I had it in the bag because I knew I was going to make it at that point. Then Benny was saving; he was clutching earlier than I was, a lot earlier. So once I passed him, I just knew that as long as I didn't have a caution, I was going to bring it home because my car was a good long run car, and I just didn't have it on a short run. So sure enough, it worked out for me.
I mean, a great run here at Kansas, getting the win. We're now going to Chicagoland next week. Very similar course and, fuel strategy usually seen there. How are you feeling about going to Chicagoland?
Oh, this is a huge boost in confidence. I run Chicagoland pretty good, so hopefully we can go out there and get another win. I mean, I got nothing to lose, so.
Well, Jacob, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Shout out to my family that's watching on stream and crew chief and sponsors,
That's Jacob Morris in the 10, winning here at Kansas.
And once again, thank you, Sam, for taking care of those interviews for us. Jacob Morris, your winner here this evening, running out of gas on the front stretch, but been able to coast across the start-finish line to take that victory. As we pull up your unofficial results from Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Jacob Morris is your winner with a 4-second margin of victory over second place Ryan Bird. Dakota Moniz in third, Thomas Walter in fourth, Tom Sinchek will be in fifth, Vincent Sora in sixth, Kyle Rochelle in seventh, Aaron Kralik in eighth, Sean Huffstetler, the professor, gets up to ninth position, Martin Morales in 10th, Jesse Thornick in 11th, Adam Westfield will be in 12th, Max Foner in 13th, Maurice Gomillion in 14th, and then we'll be interested to see how those points shake out when we begin the broadcast next week. Zachary Compton in 15th, Danny Cochran in 16th, Austin Halsey in 17th, Ryan Ferraro in 18th, Nicholas Compton will be in 19th, and 20th will be James Trammell, and 21st, Patrick Hernandez, 22nd, Joshua Pike, and 23rd, James Loveland. And that will round out your race results from this evening as we get ready to pack it up here from the Midwest and head a little bit to the east up near the Great Lakes to the Windy City of Chicago, Illinois, as we go to Chicagoland for the round of 8.
Yeah, it's exciting to see how this race is going to go down, and I can't wait to see how these drivers are going to figure out new fuel strategies. I mean, it came down to Jacob Morris having the best strategy to win this race. Also, I have a list of the unofficial top 8 that should be moving on to the next round. Dakota Moniz, able to win last week, locked himself in with a great run here today. He'll be making it into next round. Also, you've got Kralik, Sora, as well as Rochelle, Seacrack, as well as Gomillion, Bird, and Walter being your top 8.
So there we go as we will get set for Chicagoland next week. Sam, it's been a pleasure as always with you and here with Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Robert, another great Saturday night.
That is correct. Thank you, gentlemen. Great calling action. And, man, what a fun race to watch. Getting down to the end there with the fuel mileage. Wow, that was something else to watch. So make sure everybody out there, if you're the first time on YouTube or Facebook here at Freaky Fast, hit that bell button and subscribe button so you don't miss any of the action here from Lee Tidwell, Zach Hall, Brendan Cawley, and Sam, calling all the action here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But we will be live tomorrow night with the Adrenaline iRacing League as they go to Charlotte Motor Speedway at 6:30 Eastern. We will be live, so make sure you tune in then. But until later on, hopefully we catch you tomorrow night. But we want to say up here in the booth, everybody please be safe out there, and God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.
I'll still be here when you're gone. You gather souvenirs, but I will never be your pawn, your pawn, your pawn. My love wasn't ever a game. I lay my cards out on the table. There's nothing to gamble away, but I can promise that you'll never be the same. But I can promise that you'll never be the same. You can double down. I'll still be a proud haven for your love is never love. A river through your bluff, I will be enough, enough, enough. My love wasn't ever a game. I lay my cards out on the table. There's nothing to gamble away, but I can promise that you'll never be the same. Something you can never take, what is not uncommon to forsake. Got a chronic urge to complicate. Think of love like a friend, not an enemy. Feeling I have nothing left to hide. I'll say what you know it when it's right. Keep it simple now, living it before I die. Think of love like a friend, not an enemy. My love